it can be 80-20, or it could be 60-40, or it could
Yeah.
Ah, the stoplight. The perfect place to pretend you're not tired. Because you're definitely not tired. Definitely.
So do you think it comes from you first, or does it come from the outside world?
Me first. I believe me first.
Uh,
Okay.
damn, that's kind of different too, because sometimes you reach failure, or somebody let you down from the outside, then you realize you got to hustle. It kind of give you self motivation. I know we should have it already, but hey, sometimes everybody don't come complete with the whole package. So sometimes that hustle can be from an outside influence, to make you do better. We got a lot of single parents out here hustling.
Right.
Single moms out here doing what they can do for their kids, and single fathers out here stepping up. So outside influence play a big part also.
Mhm.
Okay. What point does a person you feel have to be at to use an elixir or maybe a narcotic to keep hustling?
I don't use either one. Mm.
So what point they got to be at in their life?
Yeah.
They ain't got to be nowhere. All they got to do is realize that there's a supply and demand. when you realize when you realize that there's a supply and demand, I think you sell anything. Ask Walmart. They got a pharmacy. They sell the drugs all day.
Right. The pharmacy, definitely, definitely. All right. So statistics show that a 70-hour work week produces the same productivity as a 40-hour work week. Does that sound the same or that sound off?
Oh,
70-hour work
you
week
saying that
versus
you
a
could
40.
do what you could do in 70 hours, you could do it in 40. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, you
Yes.
definitely do that.
So there's people out here that are working 40 hours, 45 hours a week that are doing the same amount of work as somebody doing it 70 hours.
Absolutely.
Right.
If
I
you're
agree.
doing a 70-hour work week, that's kind of crazy. And you're not getting any sleep for sure. You're definitely not getting any sleep. As
I can
OD,
accept
yeah.
somebody that do it 40 hours. I could do it in 2 hours. So I don't know.
Okay, let me find out. two
Because
hours?
half the time they talking, they on their phone, they somewhere 40 hours. I Most of the time, if you're in a 40-hour work week, you're not even working most of the whole full 8 hours a day, anyways. So
Right. I want to get the most money I can in the least amount of time. Why do I want to
absolutely.
go somewhere for 8 hours when I can go somewhere for 3 hours and make the same amount, right?
Hmm.
That's kind of why we stream, right? The
Right.
tag fast money, y'all know about that. You got a dragon, right? It's somebody right now that's working all day for one dragon,
Right.
all day, 10, 11 hours.
And you
You
get
just
it in a
got it
three
right
minute
there.
battle. You get a
Three
whole
minute
cash
battle.
out for 40
Oh
hours in a
man,
3 minute
it's
battle.
the battles. Yeah, them battles is crazy.
Hey, 6'5", that question tied back into your earlier question when you said you rather had the hearts or the dragon, the big button.
Right. Mm-hmm. For
Yeah.
sure. People like engagement though, right? So the engagement would be, I want to my live. Uh-oh. Alexa trying to tell me something in my ear. So you want the engagement in your live, right? You want the roses, you want people talking, you want people chatting, but you want the big buttons also because it's the big buttons. It lets you know that you're being appreciated. It lets people know that hey, you really rock with me, you know.
Mhm.
So no diss to the rose throwers for sure because we love those. But also we do want the person to come in there, throw a carpet, throw a dragon, spin a couple wheels. It makes us feel good. It's
Right.
like, oh, they rock with me. All right, Smiley, what's something that you would contribute to hustle culture?
Something that will contribute to it.
Yeah, like the topic.
Okay, you'll probably go first. I gotta think about it.
I was waiting you to answer so I can get my foundation. But break that down a little bit more. When you say contribute, you talking about like,
All right. Yeah. So contributing to hustle culture, what would be something that you would contribute to it? What is there like a phrase or maybe an excerpt or something or an action or anything like that? What would you personally contribute to the term hustle culture?
phrase? I got a phrase for it. If it ain't beneficial, it's artificial. You
All right.
a phrase because hustle culture, that's what it is. It's about beneficial progress. And if it ain't in the hustle culture, if you ain't part of that, if you ain't part of that beneficial movement, people step away from you. They step back. They look at you like you wasted time. You artificial. So if it ain't beneficial, it's artificial.
For sure,
Okay,
for
mine
sure.
would be find a shorter way to do it. That's it.
Good one too.
Find a shorter way. Yep. That's how you got to do it for sure. All right. So the 1800s, the word hustle emerged. They didn't really use it too much, right? So it was only coined for middle class white Americans, right? So they said that minorities weren't couldn't hustle because we didn't use all of our brains, right? So Blacks, Hispanics, indigenous people of all types started to work really hard around the 1900s to start hustling, creating the hustle culture in society. Now, the word, you guys know it, keeping up with the Joneses, would be coined as one of our biggest hustle culture terms. Do you guys feel like minorities really created hustle culture, or was it just already there?
I feel like it was already there, but I feel like when the minorities use that effort, somebody gave it a name to kind of like belittle it almost. That's what I feel like. Because keeping up with the Joneses was pretty much saying you trying to be like somebody else. It ain't the fact that you were just trying to support your family. They try to use that as a comparison term to make it look like you wasn't doing it on your own for your own reasons. So I think it was already there, but when we used it, it became something to talk about.
For
I agree.
sure. Hustle culture is definitely something that African Americans, Latinos, Indians, different cultures use to say that we're grinding too. We're doing this. And a lot of things that our hustle culture does is it creates an image. So when I asked a little bit earlier, what does the image of hustling look like? When you go on some people's Instagram pages and Facebooks and you see a dude standing on a Lamborghini, standing on the hood with a mink coat on, that's him trying to let everybody know I'm hustling. This is what I'm doing. Versus how you guys answered, somebody who hustles is looking focused. Somebody who hustles might look distracted to perfect the hustle. That's the answer. That's what you're supposed to say. But instead, I'm on Facebook with the gold watch, with the Lambo, with this, with that, and that's what you see when you see hustlers. The same with the drug era in America. The man on the block had the newest BMW. I want that new BMW too. What I got to do to get it? You know. Um,
Hey, they were hustling the fields too, though. When you seen them old videos, old movies, where them man had their little hat on and they collar shirt on, and they was going to the cotton field. They were still hustling. They was hustling for the family.
right, right. Anytime you go to work, you're hustling pretty much. I mean, you can say that working hard, really hard, putting in the biggest effort you can is hustling, but just getting up and going to work is a hustle.
Right.
Believe it or not, it takes a lot to roll out of bed every day and go to a job.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'll get up and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I go deal with boss today. They be talking to me crazy, man. I don't know if I could do that.
Right.
All right. Instant gratification. What do you think about that, Jacory?
I think that's what makes you happy in that moment. That's what gives you your drive for that situation. So a lot of people actually operate on instant gratification. If you tell somebody to do something the other way, that's a long way. The long way don't get them that instantaneously drive that they're looking for, that ambition. So I definitely think that's like the front end energy behind most people activities.
Reporter Steve Parker standing by. Steve, it looks pretty dangerous out there.
It's pretty much raining free chips and salsa out here.
Wait, what?
Moe's Free Chips and Salsa. May it never stop.
Welcome to Moe's Roll.
No, I will hustle in a better way because I have more finances to do it better than I was before. Definitely not stopping the hustle. There's so much more hustling I can do with money.
Right. You feel that way too, Jacory?
Man, when it comes to hustling, I look at hustling like a form of energy, and the lotto just gonna give me more energy.
Right, for sure. What's up, everybody? I'm 6'5" Mir. Welcome to How Times Change. We got Smiley J in the box. Make sure you check her out Sundays, lip sing, game night, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys check out my man Jacory a little at the bottom right here. He got a lot of stuff going on the app. Also, make sure you follow him on IG to keep up with the things that he has going on. All right. Welcome everybody in the chat. Thank you for the hearts and all the love that you guys are giving. All right, Jacory, I know you know, man, because you seem like you like hustling. When somebody tells you that you hustling backwards, what does that mean?
That's their perception of where they see something that can be done in a different way. But people got to realize, you got perspective, you got perception. So when I have a perception of what I'm seeing, that's my interpretation of my reality. If I'm dealing with Smiley, she has a perspective, and I got to be able to bend and step outside of my perception to hear her perspective on what she's doing. Otherwise, I'm gonna always say somebody doing something a different way. So, but ultimately,
right.
that's just your way of saying, I see a better way you can do it.
Right. Every way don't work for everybody. Everything don't work for everybody. We see that on the app. Some people, they can, drop a big bag, right, and get somewhere faster, get to the number one, faster. Or you could take that zigzag line and get there the same. Just like, the tortoise and the hare, right? The rabbit ran real fast and tired out, and the tortoise walked there and ended up winning, So there's no right way to say, because in another life, the hare just won. He ran the race, went through the finish line and won. But in another life, the tortoise won. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay. So this is for you, Smiley. Just what do you think it sounds like? Americanitis. What does that sound like to you?
Americanitis?
Americanitis.
Americanitis. Something about America.
Hey, it's just what it sounds like to you. Does it sound crazy? What is it? I mean, look, because when I seen it, I was scratching my head too. I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Americanitis, meaning what is the itis?
What is an itis? Itis is when you eat some good food and go to sleep. That's right. Itis.
Maybe inflammation. I don't know, something to do with America, I think. I don't know what it is.
Agreed. What do you think, Jacory? You think what Americanitis means?
Man, that's a good compact question, man. It can mean so many different things, but to dumb it down, I say Americanitis is, believing that the best way to do something is based on the culture of America, So a lot of things we do, we base it on the acceptance of this culture, So if it ain't aligned with this culture, then we don't align ourselves with it to be right or the right way.
For sure. All right, so Americanitis has nothing to do with that.
It sounded good though.
But look, I like how you did that, because that is exactly how we would think Americanitis would be, you know. What's up, everybody sliding in? So Americanitis is actually a disease
Lord.
that Americans get from working too hard.
I was close.
Right. And it's an actual disease that they diagnose you in the hospital. So when you overwork yourself and you're tired and you're fatigued, it's
So can I
called
tell my job that I'm gonna
Americanitis.
get Americanitis, so I need vacation?
You can actually go to the doctor and get a prescription for it.
Is it hereditary?
Yeah. My parents worked hard. I got it. I got
Right.
Americanitis.
It's the rollover. It's the rollover.
Right.
So for when people get this, they used to give them NyQuil or sleeping pills to make them, you know, to say like, look, you're working too hard, chill out, take some sleeping pills, take some NyQuil, you know. Americanitis. It's the American hustle disease. So everybody in here, look, make sure you guys take at least sleep, some kind of sleep. The day should be broken up into 3 different parts, right? 8 into 3 different 8s. You got 8 hours to go to work. You got 8 hours for refreshment. Refreshment would be food, hanging out with your family, doing fun things, and then 8 hours for sleep. You know, the American cooties. Look, over here that's actually a question I'm about to have a little bit after this. But make sure you guys break up the day into 3 different parts. Get your 8 hours of work, your 8 hours of refreshment, and your 8 hours of sleep. You know, don't overdo it, because once you go over that 8 hours, something else in your life is gonna lack. You know. Characteristics. Oh yeah. Yep. You know. All right. Compared to Americans, scroll down. I'll skip one for this one. Do you feel like Americans hustle enough, or do you feel like foreigners hustle enough? You know, they say that we're lazy over here in America.
Right.
Yeah. I think you know, I've been around the country. I think we're pretty lazy in America. You know, but you know, that's the difference in culture, though. But yeah, I definitely think we, you know, outside the country, they got more hustle.
Right. I agree. I've been to Africa 4 times, and they definitely be hustling way more than we
Right.
do.
It's when the stakes are higher. That's what it really is. When what's more at stake? We're already comfortable over here. What's at stake?
Right.
Yeah, and that's good. Hey,
Right.
Cody got a good point,
Nabby,
because you know, other places, you know, they pick up the slack to other people. Over here, we just hustle for ourselves. It's like,
right. Yeah, you
And
can
some,
look at
I mean,
that.
in most
What's
cases,
hustling for yourself? Go ahead, Smiley.
they gotta hustle because they lack the things that we have over here. So they have to hustle.
Yeah. See, everyone doesn't hustle for the community, Navi. You know, a lot of people hustle for themselves, you know, and then they turn around like, oh, I see you. You know that term, everybody like, I see you out here. I see you, you know. That lets another person know, like, oh, I see you doing a little something, something. Or somebody, oh, you still got that little business, you know, you got going on. It's like, okay, well, is it not, am I not hustling enough to be, you know, looked at as a good competitor? Like, you know, what am I doing?
Don't put nothing little in front of anything I got going on. Ain't no little business.
those words, you gotta pay attention to how people say stuff, because they add those words in, and the words that go past your head, but they mean the whole how they see you also.
hmm Right, for sure. All right. What does oh, I'm sorry. All right, what's another word for hustle for you personally? If you don't want to use the word hustle.
Grind.
Consistency.
Grind. You said what you call?
Consistency.
Consistency. Okay, cool, cool. And if you can tell anybody right now one lesson, well, if you can teach anybody right now one lesson about hustling, what would it be from your personal experience?
put a date on it. Set out some goals and put a date on it, but actually put it on paper. Because if you have all these ideas, and if you don't put it on paper and don't put a date on it, it's unlikely to happen.
Okay. Put a date on it is cool.
Most
Smiley.
times you gotta motivate yourself. A lot of times you're gonna be motivating yourself. That's what I have.
I see dream board. I've seen dream boards for sure. Putting messages on the refrigerator. And I talked about it like a week ago. I seen a kid on TikTok, actually, TikTok. So he writes down messages.
For the go-to people in life.
Motion makes a bag, for sure. Self-motivated can lead to depression. One big thing about the hustle culture that they talk about is mental health, right? The state of mental health and how toxic it is to work, and necessarily, disregard everything else. I don't know if I've done that for sure. I mean, I probably have, because we do it without noticing a lot of the times. But as a mental health kind of standpoint, what would you guys do to recharge if you're working too much besides sleep? Sleep is easy. You just go to lay down. What else would you do besides that?
I think vacation, getting away mentally. That's what I would do to recharge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you tag your it. That's a good point.
Hey, I want to touch back on a point. Tag your it made a good point, but I would like to say this: anything you do, you need a team. You can't do nothing by yourself. So anybody who's trying to do something solo, you lying to yourself, first of all, because in everything that you do, you have some help some kind of way. So you definitely, that's the first start to anything successful. Figure out how your team where you're gonna start your team at, because that's who's gonna help you make it all the way through up to the point to where you don't have to wear yourself down to this question you're asking right now. Most of the time we wear ourselves down because we doing too much for one person.
Okay. Do you feel like probably people hustle for other people more themselves then?
I think.
Well, just like you said earlier, hustling for your children, so that's hustling for others and your family.
I think a lot of people, we all doing it for others because either you're doing it for your family or you're doing it for recognition. You're doing it for something that deals with not just you.
Okay. People hustle more for comfort. That's like the long-term hustle thing. I worked 40 years so I can go on vacation at the end when I'm in the 60s, 70s. Now people are piling on more jobs. Like, all right, so I know if I work this job 30 years, I'm gonna get retirement, I'm gonna get pension, 401k, all that good stuff, IRAs, all those different things that we know about. Versus now where people are trying to figure out, all right, if I work 2 or 3 jobs at one time, I could get there in half the time versus working 40 years for one person. It also contributed to COVID. COVID put a fire under more people to want to be their own boss, which is good too. Before that, people were just, we're cool. We can work for somebody forever, So shout out to all the people that created businesses, during COVID, and all the ones that are in the works of creating their business. Wow. When I think of the word Goldie, I think of Flavor Flav. I didn't really mean to read that comment, but it was very funny. That was the girl that was on there blinking all the time, right?
Flavor Flav, I tell you.
Man, right. Jesus is, oh man, God, you guys are funny in the comments for sure. All right. So since we're setting goals, right? We're always setting goals. Do you have another goal after this show besides getting a house that you would like to achieve? Is pretty much did the show inspire you to create another goal? Anybody. You guys creating goals now? It made you think about your goals?
Yeah, I got a goal. So, you know, I got 2 daughters, 1 5, 1 7. You know, and I understand that who controls the land controls the power of development. You know, so I'm trying to amass 1,000 acres. You know, I'm not quite there yet. You know, I'm over 100, but I ain't got 1,000 acres, and I just want to pass it down. You know, that's it. You know, that I want to pass down control. Land is a form of control of what develops within a society. So I'm trying to pass down about 1,000 acres, 500 apiece, if I can do that, and that's it. You know, that's a start. That gives them a better start than I had.
Right.
Right. That's what it's about. If it takes 100 years for us to get ahead, it's still worth it, right? You know, they tell you some people hustle 30, 40 years to get $1 million. You know, you still made $1 million at the end of that 30 years, and that still matters. It makes sense. You know, a lot of people, if you look at a lot of the successful families, their great grandfathers and grandmothers came into money, you know, so they're enjoying the luxuries of it now. So that's what we want. We want it to be 50, 60 years from now, when we look back, we can say, oh man, I hustled all this time, so my family name's gonna live on. All these things are gonna live on. The land thing is dope, Jacory, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with how McDonald's started or not.
I was just about to say,
know,
did y'all see the McDonald's documentary?
So yeah, buying up the land, you know, instead of the brand. So one way or another, McDonald's is gonna owe you. It's like, look, you want to build a McDonald's here, that's cool, but I'm gonna buy the land underneath it, you know, and take over. So you gonna pay me one way or another. Right. And that's always that's the thing, you know, you got to figure out those loopholes, just like we talked about in future past shows. The metaverse, if you guys are familiar with the metaverse, you can buy land in the metaverse, and people are building things in the metaverse on these properties where you're making money in your sleep. You know, there's McDonald's, there's restaurants, there's fashion, there's clubs, there's different things in the metaverse you can go and buy, and you know, you can make money while you sitting on here on tag, laughing and joking with your friends. Somebody is got a headset on, dancing on your property. Smiley for top badge. Hey. Period. All right. So is there anything that you guys would like to contribute to this conversation before we wrap it up?
Yeah, you know, I guess in all things you do in business, keep emotion out of it, because when you're dealing in business, emotion will make you lose opportunities. So try to control your emotions, and you will keep your doors open.
Okay. What about you, Smiley? You want to tell everybody something?
I guess, yeah, don't stop hustling. Just like this whole thing was about hustling, and so no matter how long it takes or how hard it is, just don't stop hustling. Got this.
I see the keep a business mind. I am not your friend. I feel that. You know, they say don't mix friends and business. You know, business and friends will take you down real fast. You know, don't go into business with your friends. Who's gonna look out for you better than a complete stranger? I don't know.
Hey,
go ahead, sir.
For you, I got a question for the host. Would you how would you characterize let's say stealing? Is that hustling to you?
You said stealing, hustling?
Is that
hustling? It depends on what side you look at, because for the person who that is a thief, that's them hustling, you know, stealing, trying to make up their, you know, make ends meet. I'm stealing to hustle. But on the other side, if I'm the person getting stole from, I would never see that as a hustle. You know, why would I think of that as a hustle? I just see you as a thief.
Right.
So in that aspect, no, because most of the time I'm not out here stealing stuff. So I'm going to be on that side. Like, nah, stealing isn't hustling. But at the same time, you understand when people flock, I mean, people probably don't know what flocking is, but when you robbing stuff and doing things like that, you're coming up on money to hopefully feed your family and get you to a point where you don't have to steal anymore. You know, just like people say, if you hang around 10 rich men, you'll be the 11th, you know, or if you keep doing faking it till you make it. If I keep stealing and stealing and putting it into other things, eventually I'm gonna get out.
Sometimes, on a long run, duty calls. We get it.
America, or you're this or you're that, eventually you're gonna turn yourself into that. That's how it is. You can't get in the mirror and be like, oh well, I'm a streamer, and you're not really a streamer. You know, you're gonna keep telling yourself you're a streamer, but then it has other things have to come on. You gotta go live. You know, you gotta go out here and network. You gotta go do this, you gotta go do that. So when you trick yourself into doing those different things, then at the end of the day, you can tell yourself you're a streamer. You know.
Yeah, no, hey, that's part of the advice. You know who you dealing with, because you got people out here who's hustling for uh a group reason, meaning they want to see you succeed also with the same energy, with the same motion. And then you got some people out there, they might not really be wanting you to succeed. They doing it for themselves, so they gonna pull you down. Next thing you know, they'll pass you up and take everything you own with them. So y'all got to know who you making your motion with.
Absolutely.
Right, for sure. Building a team, like you said earlier, you know, sometimes it's hard for people to build a team. It's easier to be a part of a team, you know, uh, falling in line. A lot of times you got to see a leader that has different characteristics and qualities, and let them teach you how to become a leader. Take different things from them, see how their hustle is, and implement it into your life. And then once you get that following, you break off from them, and then you become a leader also. And then you have people coming to you for the same thing. There's nothing wrong with falling in line and learning somebody else's hustle to perfect yours, you know?
Facts. The greatest people who implement action are the people who listen. You know, so hey, you gotta listen to what's going around, because you gotta be able to identify what's going around. So good listeners make good people, good action.
For sure, for sure. All right, everybody, make sure you hit the boxes with a fave. Smiley and Jacory. Make sure you hit Smiley with a fave for sure, because she's trying to get her fave. You got your faves up, right? You getting your faves
Yes,
up and everything.
I applied last
Smiley
week,
for
yes.
top badge and all that good stuff. So make sure you hit her with a fave. She's out here grinding, hustling, and all the other good stuff on the app. And she got stuff going on Sunday. Lip sync. It was real cool. I liked it. It was a lot of energy in there. It was real cool. They got she gives away prizes, got a live DJ. So if anything, just go in there to vibe, and then go tap in with Jacory. I know I see his name around here a lot, so he'd be out here spreading the bag around, So if you want somebody that's a shooter, that has good energy and everything like that, make sure you hit Jacory with a fade. Make sure you go to his IG and check out his videos he got on there. It's the pow pow in there. Tasha Mack, pow pow. So I appreciate everybody coming in. Yeah, that was it. That was all the questions, man. We answered everything. I appreciate you too coming on the show. You're always welcome. Once on the show, you're always welcome. This topic came up yesterday, so I actually had a different one, but this one jumped out. So
right.
I was like, we got to talk about the hustle culture on Tag, man. So hopefully we can get you back again, Smiley. You and Chocolate, the Triangle has to do a show.
Triangle got to do it.
Triangle got to do a show. All right. So everybody fave Jacory and Smiley, right? You guys got the faves in before we get them out of the box?
Everybody good. Hey,
Right.
appreciate you
It's the been had.
I appreciate you having us on the show, 6
All
5.
right, no problem.
All right, for sure. All right, you too. Thank you for coming. Definitely. My app always straight. Don't never let me box people down sometimes.
I see.
It wasn't letting him box down, wasn't letting me box him down, you know? That's wild. Wild. I appreciate you guys coming. Hustle culture. That one's one for the he wasn't meant to go. Oh man. It was saying you gotta stay longer, bro. It wasn't trying to let you go. I don't want to leave, but I gotta go right now. It's another record views for the show. Last week we hit 500 for the first time. This week we almost at 600 views. Let me send the blast out, get the 600 real quick. Did anybody else in here want to say anything about hustle culture? You guys can request the box if you want to. You have something to say that you don't want to type. I'm about to right now. Gotta send a blast. I forget about blast all the time. I'll never send them. And every time I get in a verse, somebody's like, "Oh, did you send a blast out?" Like a blast. I forgot about that. I don't know. It brings the people. It brings the people who have their notifications on to your live. So I'm gonna say something crazy like, "Wow." No. I ain't gonna say that. Tag might be like, "What are you talking about?"